Good day everyone and welcome to another episode of our Tax 101, Guide in Income Taxation, where we can talk about anything under tax. For today's episode, our topic is about various income tax filings. Let's begin our discussion with the filing of income tax returns or ITRs. Income tax is defined as a tax levied on a person's income, emoluments, profit derived from property, practice of a profession, conduct of trade or business, or on the pertinent items of gross income specified in the Tax Code of 1997, as amended, less any deductions allowed for such type of income under the Tax Code, as amended, or other special laws. For purely compensation income earners, income tax returns for basic tax must be filed once a year unless qualified for substituted filing on or before April 15 of the following year. For business income earners including income from practice of profession, the individual taxpayer is required to file a quarterly tax return on or before the following dates regardless of the results of operations. First quarter, May 15, second quarter, August 15 or 45 days after the end of the quarter, third quarter, November 15 or 45 days after the end of the quarter, final adjusted annual return April 15 of the succeeding year. Prior to 2018, for taxes on passive income withheld from January to November, the income tax returns must be filed on the 10th day of the month following the month of withholding was made. For taxes withheld in the month of December, ITRs must be filed on or before January 15 of the succeeding year. Beginning 2018, for final and creditable withholding taxes, the return shall be filed and paid not later than the last day of the month following the close of the taxable quarter during which the withholding was made. For capital gains tax, the filing of ITR for shares of stock and real property differs. The ordinary returns for shares of stock is within 30 days after each transaction, and the final consolidated return must be filed on or before April 15 of the following year. For real property, the ITR must be filed within 30 days following each sale or other disposition. Now that we already know when we should file our income tax returns, let's proceed with the how. Filing of ITR may be done through number 1, manual filing, number 2, electronic filing and payment system or the EFPS, and number 3, EBIR forms. And now, the where. Where is the place of filing income tax return? The income tax return shall be filed and paid with any of the following. Number 1, authorized agent banks. Number 2, revenue district office. Number 3, collection agent. And number 4, duly authorized city or municipal treasurer in which the taxpayer has his legal residence or principal place of business in the Philippines. If there be no legal residence or place of business in the Philippines, the ITR shall be filed with the Office of the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. After filing our ITRs, the question is when should we pay? In general, income tax is due at the time the return is filed, also known as the pay as you file system. The filing deadline was already discussed earlier in this video. However, RA 10963 or the Train Law states that when the tax due exceeds 2,000 pesos, the individual taxpayer may choose to pay the tax in 2 equal payments as follows. First installment at the time of filing the annual income tax return, and the second installment on or before October 15 following the close of the calendar year. Let's now proceed with the discussion of BIR forms to be used for income tax filings. BIR Form 1700 is for the annual income tax for individuals earning purely compensation income, including non-business and non-profession related income. This return shall be filed by every resident citizen deriving compensation income from all sources or resident alien and non-resident citizen with respect to compensation income from within the Philippines except the following. Number 1, an individual whose taxable income does not exceed 250,000 pesos. Number 2, an individual with respect to pure compensation income as defined in Section 32A1 derived from sources within the Philippines, the income tax on which has been correctly withheld, tax due equals tax withheld, under the provisions of Section 79 of the Code, provided that an individual deriving compensation concurrently from 2 or more employers at any time during the taxable year shall file an income tax return. Number 3, an individual whose sole income has been subjected to final withholding tax pursuant to Section 57A of the Tax Code. And number 4, a minimum wage earner as defined in Section 22HH of the Tax Code, or an individual who is exempt from income tax pursuant to the provisions of the Tax Code and other laws, general or special. The deadline of BIR Form 1700 is on or before the 15th day of April of each year, covering taxable income for calendar year 2018 and thereafter. BIR Form 1701, Annual Income Tax Return for Individuals, Estates, and Trusts. BIR Form number 1701 shall be filed by individuals who are engaged in trade or business or the practice of profession, including those with mixed income, in accordance with Section 51 of the Code as amended. The deadline for the final adjustment return or annual income tax return is on or before the 15th day of April of each year, covering income for calendar year 2018 and thereafter. BIR Form 1701A, Annual Income Tax Return for Individuals earning income purely from business or profession. The return shall be filed by individuals earning income purely from trade or business or from the practice of profession, to wit, a resident citizen within and without the Philippines, a resident alien, non-resident citizen, or non-resident alien within the Philippines. BIR Form 1701Q, Quarterly Income Tax Return for Individuals, Estates, and Trusts. The following are the deadline of BIR Form 1701Q. May 15 of the current taxable year for the first quarter, August 15 of the current taxable year for the second quarter, and November 15 of the current taxable year for the third quarter. BIR Form 1702RT, Annual Income Tax Return for Corporation, Partnership, and other non-individual taxpayer, subject only to regular income tax rate. This return shall be filed by corporation, partnership, and other non-individual taxpayer, subject only to regular income tax rate of 30%. This return is filed with or without payment on or before the 15th day of the 4th month following close of the taxpayer's taxable year. BIR Form 1702Q, Quarterly Income Tax Return for Corporations and Partnerships. The deadline of corporate quarterly declaration or quarterly income tax return is on or before the 60th day following the close of each of the quarters of the taxable year. Thank you for staying with us today, and we are looking forward to see you on our next episode. Stay well and don't forget to pay your taxes. Adios!